This tiny little machine looks a bit like a toy because it's so small, but it's actually a really, really good working machine. I have one of these, and when I play it, I'm always astounded at how well it works. It's a Columbia Graphophone product. It was marketed by Columbia Graphophone as a BVT. The T, it designates that it has a back bracket, and it's a little strange looking for a cylinder machine because it has a horn much like a back bracket disc machine. This was also marketed as an Oxford machine. What was happening was Columbia was building this machine for Sears, Roebuck and Company in 1908 and 1909 and selling it, and Sears was selling it as an Oxford talking machine. Columbia also sold it, so sometimes you can find it with a decal on it, a Columbia decal, as an Oxford, or with the Columbia decal as a Columbia machine. So that makes it a little bit confusing to know which is it. Was it sold as an Oxford or sold as a Columbia machine? Well, it turns out you can tell by the back bracket. This one here, the bracket is screwed into the cabinet, so that makes it a Columbia. The Oxford version that Columbia made, the Oxford version had a C-clamp that connected the back bracket to the case that way, so it could be removed if you wanted to move it around or take it somewhere. So slight modification for the ones that were sold as Oxfords. They're really nice machines. There's a lot of bits and pieces in here that you can see because it has to sort of be assembled before you use it. What you need to do is connect the reproducer to this part here where the sound travels up. So I insert that and put this on. Now this isn't going to fit really well because some of the metal has changed shape over the years, so I don't want to force anything. But this basically goes onto there like that, and you can see this elbow and this elbow are attached or slide into here, and so as the reproducer moves across, this can go in and out. So that's really good. You'll see it clearer when I bring you in for a close-up. So why don't I bring you in for a close-up and show you some of the details of this machine, because it's a little different than other Columbia graphophones. Now that I've added the horn, you can see what I mean when I said that it looks like a back bracket disc machine. It's really quite innovative to give it that look. And this swivels back and forth. So let's get in for that close-up. So you can see it's quite pretty. The reproducer is a little bit different than on most Columbias. Most Columbias, it's a floating reproducer that you can take on and off, where this is built right in. That way, I guess it was like a cost-cutting measure by making the reproducer part of the carriage and everything. Underneath, you can see the stylus bar, and then there's a weight here, and this can move up and down, and there's a little spring to add pressure onto the cylinder. I thought we'd get a close-up look at the motor. It's got a really big governor. And you can see it's a tiny little motor, but they work, as I said, quite well. If I turn it on, I can't let it run too much because in order to get it out of the case, I had to take the speed control off because it extends through the right-hand side of the case. And then there's you can see how the back bracket is mounted, and a little bit of information about how to keep the machine well maintained. Okay, let me put it back together and we'll take a look at it. And you can get a better look at this mechanism as I, oops, shouldn't do it that way. Pretty well designed, and it's a nice machine. The plating's really good. One of my favorite little machines.